And today, this is how the American road looks.
There's more souls dying than living in this town. I felt the ground shake, but nothing ever moved. And I've heard every boring LA story, and none of them are true. Empty in California. I left that key in the door, foot to the floor. Empty in California. I won't leave my shoes. Empty in California. Left the key in the door, hey, got my foot to the floor. Empty in California. I made my
incredible odds. I didn't have the power! An unbeatable enemy. It's a madhouse! To earn the name
Ignorant Slut.
But now there's a new way to spell action.
It's midday, and rubbish transvestite
Dave Darin
is paying a visit.
I'm from Philadelphia.
Hello? Hello?
Woodard.
Take Broad Street North, right on Passyunk Avenue.
Oh, you're from Philadelphia? I like the mummers and cheesesteaks and pretzels.
He's the best there is.
That is so gay.
Yeah. Hero.
He's got his head up his butt, but he's really interesting.
Listen, Dick, how would you like me to make your life a living hell?
Do not go in there.
See?
One that would have been here.
Interesting. This is why you're my favorite DJ on this.
There's no place he won't go. Nothing he won't do.
Are you threatening me?
Oh! And no one.
Major wow factor.
He can't handle.
Dave Darin.
Yes, yes, yes!
I'm in my van because it's kind of crazy. We spend a lot of I spend a lot of time on the van, and then sometimes it's better. I have to get in these certain spots, and I figure, well, I'll just go to Starbucks because I know their MiFi works really good, and I have a MiFi that I have around, but it sometimes hit or miss. So
cool. And you got your Starbucks coffee. By the way, I've got look at this cup. This is kind of cool. See this? Can you see this?
I can. Oh yeah.
It's kind of cool, right? I'm all dressed up for my interview, even though I just got up this morning. Got up late.
There you go. I know. I was like, I guess I got to get up. I got up at 6:30 because I got to get my daughter, who's 2.5, to preschool, and I'm like, man, I got to get all ready for this. It's going to be hard, so I'll just have to get up extra early.
That's cool. That's very nice of you to do that. I appreciate that. What else is in that coffee? Anything spiked up in there?
No. God, no.
Nothing yet,
Not
right?
Yet.
Not yet. Do you like Kahlua in coffee? Do you like that? That's pretty good. Kahlua?
Yeah, it's good. And my husband, he puts, who also plays keys with me, he puts butter in his coffee.
Butter?
So like butter, 2 pats of butter.
Wow.
So like the people at Starbucks, like some of them, if they're not used to it, fortunately we come to this one so often, they're like, hey, the butter guy. So anyway, but apparently it's pretty good. I've never tried it.
How about, I guess it makes it, because you put cream in your coffee. Butter is sort of cream. Why not margarine though?
Yeah, I don't know. He's a little weird about that one. No.
So that's pretty cool.
Margarine. He tries to do this all natural stuff.
Oh, guy, by the way, guys are gross. I'll show you. In the morning I wake up, you can see I have my foot here. I didn't put a sock on yet. And the reason is because, guys don't know when to cut their toenails unless a toenail breaks off in the sock. That's when they know to cut the toenail. I told you guys are sick. We are sick dudes. So let me try to get I figured out how to do this before. I don't know how to close the right side of the Skype window so it doesn't appear. Do you know how to do that? I never know how to do that.
Let's see.
I'm hitting like a right mouse click.
Just click it.
Huh.
If you click if you click your picture, it'll be tiny.
Oh, is that right? I don't want to be.
Yeah.
Guys do not want to be tiny. That's a bad look. Guys like to be hung big. They don't like to be hung tiny. Okay. Well, forget it. We'll just go with this. It won't matter. So I got Coco on the call here. How are you today? Doing well, I guess?
I'm all caffeined up.
And you are...
Not that matters. I don't know.
Now, you are a singer-songwriter, correct? You write your own material as well?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
And are you primarily a solo performer, or do you perform in bands periodically, sit in with bands as a studio musician? Give me the little situation about how you run your career.
So I usually do solo if depending on what it is. I just did a couple of songs last night solo, and then sometimes I perform with my husband, who's a keyboardist, and we do a duo. So we've got a tour booked in the Carolinas, a little tiny tour. In April, we're doing like 8 dates or something in the Carolinas. So we're going to do that as a duo. And then I have my band, which I affectionately call Coco O'Connor and the Redeemers. So in that band is Donnie Wynn, who has played on all like the Power Station stuff and the Robert Palmer stuff back in the day. And he also played with Brooks and Dunn, and he's just Shaka Khan. He's done it all. He's so amazing. And then Billy Harvey is a guitarist and a bass player. He kind of switches off those instruments. And then Taylor O'Connor's on keys. So we did shows last year. We opened up for the Oak Ridge Boys, which was fun. Jim Lauderdale and Phil Vassar, Mark Will. So hopefully we're trying to book some more shows this summer. So we're trying to get those ironed out right now. So.
Well, it's pretty cool. And you got the band there is what you use to tour around the country, or is it primarily East Coast, or have you been out West?
We primarily did Missouri. It was kind of Midwest. When we did some fairs, which the fair circuit is always very entertaining and really fun. You definitely get to see a lot of interesting people and places. So it's interesting. It's kind of fun to bring the music to, places like really tiny towns, and the county fair is still like the biggest deal. It's kind of like the biggest deal that happened all year is the fair coming to town. So it's really, it's kind of like a throwback in time to Middle America.
Is the fair like, I asked a lot of bands what their best venues are. I asked them if they like playing the dive bars, if they like playing the regular rock music venues, if they like the coffee shop and the intimacy, or they like the fairs. And they tell me usually that the fairs are the most financially sound. Is that true?
Well, I don't know if any gigs I've booked so far. I probably need to talk to those bands and figure out more what they're doing right. I haven't found financially sound. I don't know about this day and age, but yeah, I think the fairs, for me personally, they're just it's just a great experience. It's nice to go in, like with our band, the Redeemers, we would go into these real tiny towns, and we're not so run-of-the-mill mainstream, so it was funny to hear like the guys like, oh, you guys are kind of like this lava lamp kind of. It was like it was interesting to hear their perspective on it, but it's also really cool to have be the opening act and have the headliner be kind of really different than you. But you'd win over, new fans. So it was cool.
Yeah, because I know the fairs, obviously, they have a lot of people just passing through. So I know in New York City when they do it, because they have big fairs in New York City, there's one in the Summer Festival, which is in Central Park, right? So they got that big event going on, or is it I forget where, at Central Park, that's where it is. And the bands get to put like a tip jar up there. And the passers-by are stocking the tip jar, and they can do fairly well with that. Now, granted, it's Central Park with a lot of foot traffic, right? So that's where they do really well there. So, and they always tell me that the merch booth makes the most money for them as well. Now, you've got a van that you tour around. A lot of bands that I interview that come into New York City, they've got a little tiny car. They can't put a lot of merch in there. So you've got the advantage of having the van. You could stock that with mannequins and dead bodies and stuff like that, right?
Yeah. Exactly. Yeah. it's a pretty groovy van. It's got, I don't know how much storage it's got storage, but it's you still sometimes have to pull a trailer and stuff like that with all your gear and stuff. I mean, if it's just me and doing a duo and stuff, that's easy. But and it's a little more self-contained. But the band, the band's kind of was all over. Actually, Billy he was living in New York City. He was up there. He just moved to Nashville, but he was up there for a couple of years. And we actually we had an SUV we did a lot of those fairs in, which was amazing, like this Toyota Land Cruiser, and all the gear fit perfectly in there. It was, crazy.
Wow.
So
now, where are you located out of? Where's your home base?
My home base is kind of interesting. I'm originally from Alabama, and I, some years ago moved out west to Santa Fe, New Mexico. Oh, okay. And we have a recording studio out there. But prior to that, I was in Nashville a lot, and then I spent some years out there, and it was great artistically. And I did some records, and my art out there was definitely influenced by being in that geographical location. And then about 3 or 4 years ago, I just kept noticing myself coming back to Nashville because of co-writing and stuff. So we've been spending a lot of time in Nashville, and I guess my home base would be I-40 at the moment. So right. Highway I-40 is my friend. So Nashville to Albuquerque and Albuquerque to Nashville. That's kind of like that's kind of like doing that at the moment.
Now it's good that you've been all over the place, because I'm going to ask you this question too. Because I ask bands, I say, where do you see the most activity for music? And some of them tell me, I do my radio show, and I used to live in Phoenix. Now I'm in New York City. So they tell me, Dave, you don't really have to be in New York City. You do a radio show. Bands don't really have to be geographically located. But then on the other flip side, I tell them, you've got to be in front of the faces. To be in front of the faces, you have to be where all that foot traffic is. So that's why I said, I'm in New York City for that primary reason. So you've been in Nashville, you've been in Santa Fe, you've been all over the place. Where do you see your best opportunity? Now, there might be a difference. The best opportunity for creativity, which you said comes from Nashville. But how about the best opportunity for yourself to survive in your music career? So I guess two answers. Where's the best creativity, and where's the best setup for you to protract your music career and growth?
I think what I had in Santa Fe, I was really blessed and have been really blessed. My local radio station there, KBAC 98.1, Honey Harris and Ira Gordon have been really big supporters of my music for a couple of years now. So I had a new record and I made a lyric video and I sent it to Honey, who is host of the big show there in Santa Fe, the morning show. And very popular, like the most popular DJ. So she said, "Oh, this is great, Coco. I'm going to send it to Ira, who's the program, the head honcho there, and he also has a show, and at the afternoon show." So she sent him that lyric video, and he thought it was great, loved it. So they started putting it in rotation. They said, "We're going to put this in rotation." I was like, nice. "Oh, awesome!" So they played it, and they kept playing the heck out of it. And then I had the record that got finished, and we decided to do a CD release party in Santa Fe. And I'll tell you, Dave, it was really successful, so successful that the venue was like, "Hey, let's do more shows because you're the only act that's like pre-sold so many tickets." Like normally Santa Fe, they wait till the last minute. So this venue was like, you did a great job, you know, and wow. And that market was like a really great. It's small, but it was successful because I had the support of people like you, DJs that, you know, listen to the music, like the music, and are willing to play it, you know, to play me as a local indie artist. So then from that single kind of catapulted, and they did a national radio campaign. So I would say, and a lot of my songs were written from that time period out in Santa Fe. So creatively, that was a good market for me to be in many ways. I think Nashville is great to build upon. For me as an artist, once you've had that success in a local market and you can see that, I think then you come to a place like Nashville and there's the possibility that you could just grow your audience and reach more people, because there's of course the industry here, even though there's the old school industry and, you know, the country. But with Jack White and a lot of, you know, indie artists coming into this town, it's there's a lot more open-mindedness about stuff than there used to be. Because I was here, you know, I'd say 10 years ago, and it's really, really changed.
For the better? It's changed for the better.
Yeah.
Oh, good, excellent.
And I would say that I think Jack White has a lot to do with that.
Wow. So it all could come down to like one or two or a handful of people to grow things to a bigger perspective. And that's kind of why I do the show here, because, you know, from the perspective of radio, now you said you found a great radio station out in the West Coast in New Mexico. And that's great because they are creating they're creating an audience and a desire for music like yourselves. It's funny because different parts of the country, like the big cities, thrive on like the classic rock stations. It seems like they don't expand beyond that. So, you know, it's really, and I've tried to get my show on other stations. You said you're in rotation on that station. When I try to get on stations, people raise their finger and they say rotate around this. Usually that's what they tell me. So it's tough. It's a challenge. But instead of me talking and yabbing on, let's play some music. You're set up there with the guitar in the van, and you're going to play a couple live songs, right?
Yeah, I am. I am. Let's see. What I don't know what you're in the mood to hear, if anything. But let's see. What can I do? Well, it's morning time. You know, we'll keep it kind of chill. I'll do True Companion. We'll start off with True Companion, then maybe I'll do Gone, which is a little bit more rockin' and all that. But this is kind of maybe a song.
Are you gonna do back to backs? You're gonna do back to backs, or you want to do one and then come back and chat and then do another one? What would you like to do?
Yeah, let's do one and I'll come back and chat.
Okay.
we'll do the next one.
Sounds great. Okay, so here we go. And by the way, before you play the song, what was the inspiration for the song? Was there an inspiration?
Yeah, the inspiration is kind of a culmination of just a lot of people in my life that from the birth of my daughter, like being a new mom, to getting reacquainted or kind of getting reunited with friends that or people or associates that I hadn't seen in many years. So it's just it was kind of a culmination of that and a little movie that I saw in my head.
Okay, so here we go. The song again is what?
True Companion.
Here we go.
Okay. I don't have much I can offer, but all I have is yours to take. There's no one more tender, softer. I'll be the best love you can make. On my way through the canyons, on my way back to you, I'll be your one true companion. I'll be the one to see you through. I was born a desert's daughter. Someday I'll leave like the wind, when I'll be your cool drink of water, when I hold you again. On my way through the canyons, on my way back to you, I'll be your one true companion. I'll be the one to see you through. So wait, I won't be long. Sun's going down and I'm coming home. So wait, you're where I belong, and I'll be your one true companion. On my way through the canyons, on my way, oh, back to you, I'll be your one true companion. I'll be the one to see you through. I'll be the one to see you through.
Beautiful.
Thank you.
Very nice. One thing I noticed about your music, the passion, the emotion in your face when you play a song that you've written. It's obviously that's in your music, your heart and soul, right?
Yep. Fortunately or unfortunately, I don't know.
Now, but let me ask you this: since I have a lot of bands on the show with 5 members in a band, they all, of course, have an emotional connection to the music, to their instrument. But it's a little bit harder to do that when you've got the 5 people in the band, or maybe it's hard to see it. Now, yourself as a solo performer, you perform with your husband. Do you feel that that's important? It seems like, I don't know how to put this or express it, but it seems like that is truly energizing to have that connection to the music that you're so emotional with, and everything's focused on you.
I don't know. I think probably maybe if people perceive that, but when we play with the other guys, when we have a band, and I love playing with the band. It's just there's still there's it's an interesting dynamic, and while maybe people are maybe a little bit more focused on me, you know, out front or because of my name or whatever, there's still a real connection and the interaction that people, you know, whatever's going on in the band, or, you know, they're playing off each other, or they're, you know, I don't know, but talking to each other. There's like a conversation there's like a conversation that's going on between us all. But I think that the you know, some of the best bands and the ones that we all love and you know, are classic, they really knew how to have conversations, but not only be speaking to each other, but listening to each other. So I think that's really the key is, and that's a challenge to do, you know, nowadays especially.
Yeah. Do you have a preference of being in the larger band as opposed to yourself, or yourself with your husband? Do you have a preference, or do you think the diversity of being able to do both adds that extra little freshness each time you approach it the different way?
I think so. Exactly. I mean, I think it just depends. I like to, it's a lot easier with me just to get up and play with my guitar and just be me. When you have other people, for me, it's comforting. Like playing with the band or playing it with my husband as a duo, it feels kind of like, you know, getting in a big fluffy bed and just being all really comfortable. That's the best way I can. It's like a big feather bed. It feels like you got these people, you got their energy, and you know, you're like, it's kind of like you and them against the world is what it feels like. You know? So it's kind of that vibe.
Yeah. Now, how you know, it's different when you're in a larger band with like 5 guys. If you happen to be off one night, like maybe the voice is a little bit off or something's not connecting perfectly, the other guys are there and they can like lift you up. Whether they lift you up based upon their individual talents that night, or just lift you up because you're energized by having all these massive amounts of people around. And the pressure can be on when you're doing a solo gig, where if your voice is off a little bit, it can be tough. Do you find that's true? Obviously, that's got to be true, right?
Yeah, I think so. You know, what I think, I've really kind of been you know, learning about more stuff and just learning about the performance and what it's kind of more all about. And I think it's a wrestling match we as artists have to do to get ourselves out of the way and not be so self-conscious and just be like, okay, we're here for the music and we're here for the people, and just to, you know, get out of our own selves and just be present in that moment. And that makes everybody a lot more comfortable, you know, if we can just, no matter if you're off. But yeah, I mean, it can be, I think that prior to doing maybe a solo gig or something like that, I find myself maybe being a little bit more nervous than, you know, if I know I got my band behind me.
Yeah, okay.
To kind of pick that up.
How did you start your career in music? Were you young and then suddenly your parents gave you a guitar and you played it and you thought this is kind of cool, and then you're obviously playing maybe some cover stuff of other bands that you admired or solo performers, and then you expanded to writing your own music. So tell me about the initial conception, and then tell me about the first time you wrote a song.
Well, the first time, how I got into all this stuff, I'm from Alabama, as I said, born and raised, about an hour north of Birmingham and about 45 minutes away from Muscle Shoals. So I grew up in a small little community there, and my mom heard me singing I'm a Little Teapot when I was 2. So then from there, she said, wow, this kid can sing. Now, you know, kids can all sing at that. It's just like yelling, right? So essentially my mom heard me yelling, which I still do to this day. You can just ask my husband. And she called it singing. So
he's there. He's there, by the way. We are going to ask him, but go ahead. Go ahead.
She put me into voice lessons, and from then she put me in a lot of pageants. So I grew up really, I mean, my schedule was this. I'd go to school during the day. I'd come home. I'd eat dinner, do homework, and then I'd go into the basement and practice. So that was rehearsal. I would practice dance, singing, and all this stuff 5 days a week or 5 evenings. Then on the weekends, we'd go to these pageants, and I'd do the pageant thing. So she had me in guitar lessons and everything, which was bluegrass because I'm from Alabama. So I grew up, my first guitar lesson was like with a bluegrass teacher. Then when I was 12 or 13, well, let's backtrack. When I was 10, I'm a huge Dolly Parton fan. So my mom said, you need to learn to write songs like Dolly because you'll make more money if you can do this thing. So I was like, okay. So when I was 10, I wrote my first song. I think it was probably about God because I didn't really know anything else, at 10. So I wrote that like a gospel tune or something. And then I started getting, when I was 12, I was like, Mom, I like this rock guitar thing. I think I'd like to, take rock guitar. So she was like, oh, okay. So we found this awesome guitar teacher in my small town who wore spandex and had like great hair, and like his name was Joel Pugh, and he was rocker. He was like a real rocker, and I was like, oh, this is awesome. So plus I think he had kind of a crush on my mom. But anyway, I started taking guitar lessons from him, and just continued to write and do the whole thing, and there you have it.
So your mom was worried that you went from I'm a little teapot to I'm a rock chick smoking pot, right? So she was worried about that, right?
Exactly. I don't know. She wasn't really worried. I think we were just so naive, that like, I mean, it was like, I remember a lot of van stories, but I remember like, did I go see Joel play like with his band or something? And I remember like, he was like, here, you want some of this? I was like, what is it? He's like, it's vodka. And I smelled it, and I was like, no, it smells like my pimple pads. I don't want to drink this stuff.
What a description. Right. So
yeah, but it did. That's what I remember.
So I'll tell you what, let's play your other piece of music, and we're gonna play a couple more. So hopefully you're prepared 2 more. Okay. So let's do the next one, which is called what?
This one is called Gone, which is my favorite off the record. And a little background on it, it actually stemmed from a disagreement I was having with my husband about him spending too much time on the device. So I think a lot of people can relate to that nowadays. We're just so consumed with all of this electronic stuff. So I was like, I said something to him. I said something like, you probably wouldn't even notice if I were gone. And I was like, oh, that's a great line. So I went and wrote it down, and there you have this song. So
cool.
It's called Gone.
Okay, here we go.
I could not sell you on being a suffering kind. You're far too accustomed to fine food and wine. Well, you like the parties and that whole crazy scene. And I'd sooner go bankrupt than chasing your dreams. So what do you do when you get lonely? That's hard to answer, 'cause you're never alone. And if I let myself slip away, you wouldn't even notice I was gone. You wouldn't even notice I was gone. You got the whole world in the palm of your hand, cold glass and steel, your lover and friend. Well, I'm waiting in real time for you to look up. The real life is boring, and I'm not enough. So what do you do when you get lonely? That's hard to answer, 'cause you're never alone. And if I let myself slip away, you wouldn't even notice I was gone. You wouldn't even notice, oh, I was gone.
sit between us at this table. Well, you don't even try, well, maybe you're not able. Or to try and even feel someone who's real. So what do you do when you get lonely? That's hard to answer, 'cause you're never alone. And if I let all myself slip away, you wouldn't even notice I was gone. You wouldn't even notice, Lord, I was gone. You wouldn't even notice I was gone.
Woo! All right.
Yeah.
Let me ask you a question here. Throughout the years of your career in music, have you tried to change your voice at all? And I'll tell you why I asked that question, because once in a while I go out and I'll do some Neil Diamond stuff, and Neil's got like a raspy voice.
Yeah.
Now I didn't have
Love on the Rocks.
Yes, Love on the Rocks. I love that song, but let me, which is sort of like gone, right? It's gone, and then it's gone because your love was on the rocks, and she's gone, right?
There you go.
Right, but you know what I did is when I started doing him with the clearer voice, and then I started thinking, you know, when Neil does it, Neil's got a raspy voice, so I started adding raspiness to my voice, and I could do it. And fortunately, my voice didn't get stuck like that. But But did you ever try to change your voice throughout the years? Have you tried to do that at all, or?
You know, I haven't tried to do it, but it has changed. I mean, it does change, and I actually, you know, I always tend to continue to take vocal lessons. So through the years, I've had different teachers that have taught different techniques, and that can too sometimes affect how your voice is. But so anyway, for what it's worth, but yeah, I think that women's voices tend to just kind of continue to change, unlike men, you know, that one one day they're talking up here and the next day they're talking, you know, like a man. But like, I think women's voices tend to get lower, I think, is what I've heard at least. But
did you notice that women's voices throughout the years, they can still continue a music career with their voices for a longer time than men, or at least it seems like that, with a few exceptions. Like obviously one exception is Tony Bennett. Did you ever see that guy? How old was he? 90 years old, had his 90th birthday, and the guy sounds tremendous. But he's like an anomaly. Most guys have lost their voice quality throughout the years, including Neil Diamond, by the way, at least in my opinion.
Yeah, you know, that's interesting. I've heard that about like Paul McCartney. Someone told me that Paul's voice, if you see him live now, is not what it used to be. You know, but I mean, I don't know. You know, Dave, that's a good question. I'm not sure if maybe it has to do with you know, men versus women, or if it has to do with, you know, training or some kind of technique that, you know, maybe somebody got fortunate enough to do, or maybe somebody didn't, you know, I don't know. It's a good question.
Do you kind of recommend that people take voice lessons? Because obviously I know some performers that have, and yourself and you have, and obviously I know some of them that even before they perform, they do a vocal warm-up. Did you do a vocal warm-up before the show here? I'm curious.
I did.
You did? Okay.
I did a tiny one because it's the morning. But I've got like my 5-minute vocal warm-up. And then, but yeah, I do warm up. I try to warm up before shows just because it's, you know, it's like any muscle. If you go and you try to go to the gym and you try to lift, you know, 500 pounds just cold, you know, you got to stretch and do all this kind of stuff. So I really like that. And I think that, like, it was interesting, you know, I think you have a lot of people, like Donnie always tells me about Robert Palmer and how he was always growing and, you know, learning stuff and all this stuff. And I've just read something about Paul Simon, how he was studying with some guy. And you think, Paul Simon, my gosh, Bridge Over Troubled Water, what does he need to be studying more for? He's already, like, you know, he's written that song, right? And numerous others. But this was on, like, Kodachrome or, what was it? No, it was Still Crazy after all these years. So
that one I like. Kodachrome, I hated. I hated that song, Kodachrome. What the hell did that mean?
I love Kodachrome.
You like that one?
I love that one. But anyway, still crazy after all these years. He was studying with some jazz. I think it was more of a jazz guy or something. And he was talking about how that weird, that weird bridge thing goes into, and it goes like all kind of nutty, and then it gets into the last verse or whatever. But I was just reading that. When I read it, I thought, wow, he's still studying with somebody,
wow.
after all of the hits and after all the successes that he has. So,
I take that back. Kodachrome starts off with after all the crap I learned in high school, right?
Yeah.
I love that song. I love that song. I forgot. I love that song. That was a mistake.
Yeah, that's the line I like.
So I'll tell you what, let's do another song. And then you know what? At the close of the show here, maybe I'm going to take one of your recorded tracks and add it into the video here. Is that okay?
Yeah, that'd be cool.
Okay,
yeah,
so let's play one more live, then we'll come back and we want to make sure everyone knows how to hook up with you for more music and more talking to you personally if they want to connect with you. Okay. But we'll do another live one and we'll grab some information about you, and then we'll do a closer, which will be off one of your videos that's on YouTube, okay?
Okay, cool. Okay. Yeah, so this is a little bit more of a rockin' tune. It's called Honeybee. So. Praise you with my lips, curse you with my tongue, like a devil that lost its fire, or an angel come undone. Taste you like a fruit, spit your bitterness out, like the tree of life I love, turn this garden upside down. I need someone to save me, I need someone to tell me it's alright, I need someone to save me, can you save me? Oh, my little honeybee. Oh, well, I love you in the day, and I hate you in the night. Like the flowers outside, I guess we just lost the will to fight. Oh, and lately I just lose, and I don't know when I win, but you were always there for me like a loyal childhood friend. I need someone to save me, I need someone to tell me it's alright, I need someone to save me, can you save me? Oh, my little honey, I need someone to save me, yeah. I need someone to tell me it's alright, I need someone to save me, can you save me? Oh, my little honey. I need someone to save me, I need someone to tell me it's alright, I need someone to save me, can you save me? Oh, my little honey, I need someone to save me, yeah. I need someone to tell me it's alright, I need someone to save me, can you save me? Oh, my little honeybee.
Woo! All right. I got to answer this question. What comes first? Are you sitting down with the guitar playing a couple chord changes and then trying to like hum in the background and then you work on the vocals and the lyrics? Or is it the reverse? You've got an idea in your head with some lyrics, and then you sit down with the guitar and you massage the chords to match the words that are in your head. What happens?
It's sometimes both.
Both. Not within the same song, or you mean one song will be one way predominantly?
Sometimes I'll get lyrics and a melody just out of the blue, and then I'll go back and try to rework it out. And then other times I'll be fiddling around on the guitar, and some line will come, and that'll be it. So it kind of happens both ways with me. I like to run, so sometimes when I'm on a run, I'll get ideas and stuff. So
so you, during the run, you've got your cell phone, so you're capturing the ideas, I'm sure, right? Now,
you can hear it. You'll hear me like then I'll go back and rework it
and
out.
then people think that you are really connected with that device. Like you accused your husband. They're thinking, here's a woman here running with her device, right?
I'm working here. Don't judge me. I know. I'm such a hypocrite.
Now, do you write with your husband, by the way? So you said he's a keyboardist and performs with you. Do you guys write together?
Yeah. Yep. Sometimes we write together. Sometimes he'll be playing, like we'll just be jamming, and he'll be playing something on the keyboards, and I'll come up with something. We had one of those tunes that happened like that, and then So
which of you, the two of you, write the lyrics, or do you both share the lyrics as well as the musical notes?
He's really a musician, so mainly he just does the music, and I take care of the lyrics. It comes so naturally to him, like just the music. So he's definitely a musician. So he doesn't really get involved in a lot of lyric writing.
Okay. I'm curious about this too. Obviously, when there's bands and they've got different people that are not part of their family within the band, and now you've got that most intimate person within your band. So is there critique that would be common with most bands where they don't mind being critical of one another? Now you guys have to live with each other after the music talents are finished for the day.
Yeah, and I'm not the best, David, at taking critiques. My husband is a real music. He's a real music snob. He likes like all the greats. Like, I mean, one of his favorite bands was like Yes, and I'm like this little country girl who I love like Janis Joplin and Aretha and all these soul kind of singers too, but I'm definitely not as adept as a musician as he is. I'm much more of a crafts person as far as the songs and crafting goes. But like he's a real music snob, so he can be highly critical of like me and songs or performances or sound. He's got like bat ears, which like little things will annoy him in the car if the wind is like going or something. He's like, "What's that noise?" I'm like, "What noise?" Like I don't know what he hears. So like he can be a little critical, but I think it's good. It's challenging, and there probably has been some, a little fussing that's been going on because of maybe something he said critically, but truthfully, Dave, it's part of, me just kind of, he's helped me get better, I think, that kind of stuff. That kind of stuff kind of makes you either try to rise to the occasion. Not that I'm trying to meet his expectations or anything, but, if he'll tell me what I need to work on, and I listen to it, and I think it helps. Because, he really has my best interest at heart and his best interest. We just want to do the best we can.
Cool. By the way, this was a really cool interview because, by the way, the interview I did before you, like last week, was also in a van. And I'll tell you the different situations you can occur in a music show like mine. I interviewed this rock band in a van. You were talking about vodka that smelled like what your pimple stuff?
Pimple pads,
okay.
yeah.
These guys didn't care about how it smelled. They just cared about the intoxication level that they got. So they're there in the van drinking vodka, smoking weed with a hooker in the back of the van. And this
Lord, that's a movie. That's a movie right there.
Right there, right?
Yeah.
So it's interesting the different personalities that come on my show. It's great having you on, by the way. And I did say, how do people hook up with you? Do you like to respond best with Twitter? Do you like Facebook better? Do you have a preference? How do people engage with you after the interview?
No, any of those avenues are fine. Facebook, Twitter, Instagram are awesome, and you can go on my website and there's a contact form if you want to reach me there, or you can just email info at cocoo'connor.com, and that's all of my names, all O's and no E's in that, but it's cocoo'connor.com. You can always connect me there in my social networks there. And I just want to thank you, Dave, because I really like your show. I think it's really cool,
thanks.
really fun. The editing was great. So thanks for featuring my Emptying California video. I thought it looked great, and all of your stuff in between, and it was just really lots of fun. So best of luck out there, and keep on keeping on. So.
Oh, cool. And that's what we'll close the show here with. We'll close with that track that I spun in my, I do two types of shows, by the way, just anyone listening that wants to come on the show. I'm trying to get this show on Sirius XM.
Yeah.
I have an opportunity to have that happen. So I'm going to meet with the guys, protract the show to them to get you guys and all the people to come on my show, all the original artists. I'm not trying to help out the mainstream guys because they've got enough help already, right? So I'm trying to help out you guys to protract to the next level. And maybe I'll help you maybe put some a sunroof in your van there, okay?
Right. That would be great. I'd appreciate that. We could probably use that. So thank you. Thank you so much for all you do, really, really from my heart, and supporting, all the original music out there. There's a lot and a lot of talent out there, and it's great to have you guys. You guys give us the voice to a certain extent. So lots of love.
Well, thanks so much. And I'll talk to you later. Make sure people, by the way, is it O'Connor? Do they have to put that pain in the ass? No.
Just Coco O'Connor.
Okay.
No apostrophes. That wigs out the search engine. So.
Yeah, it sure does. That's why I was asking, to make sure people don't have to do that. You made it simple for these guys, right?
It did. Simple.
You made it simple. You made it simple for the guys in the van smoking the weed and with the vodka with the hooker in the back to find you. That's great.
Yeah.
Okay.
I did. That's who I think about.
Cool. Okay. Well, thanks a lot for being on the show, and I'll talk to you next time. Make sure you come back on again. You get some new music out there. Come back on again. Okay.
You got it. It. Thanks, Dave.
Okay. Take care. Have a great night. Bye-bye.
You too. Bye-bye.
Lonely in a superficial light, and whatever I do, I won't leave my shoes empty in California. Left the key in the door, got my foot to the floor, empty in California. Well, I made my bed, but I won't lay my head empty in California. Lost angels never poured their mercy down. More souls dying than living in this town. I felt the ground shake, but nothing ever moved. And I've heard every boring LA story, and none of them are true. much time. Lord, I wasted so much time. But whatever I do, I won't leave my shoes empty in California. I left that key in the door, foot to the floor, empty in California.